Hey everyone, welcome back to We're the Game. I'm Michael and that's Luke, and we are going to carry on our saga of heartbreak today, talking about the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers game. A close one all the way down to the last few moments, but did not come out on the Arizona Cardinals' way. And there was a lot of heartache in this game that was not related directly to the score. Might as well kick it off with that, and the break that it's not really breaking news at all. But for anyone who's watching the game, the heartbreaking news about James Conner. I'll start you off there because might as well get the worst part out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just insult to injury there, salt in the wound, whatever you want to call it, with James going down. He has been, they've remarked on it several times in the course of the last year or so. It's like, man, he seems to be getting better with age. Like, he just keeps refining his game, and in a lot of ways he was. And he may be able to come back and play some more, not this year, but in the future. But I mean, he's an older running back, and so he's up against the odds at this point. Practically speaking, not to be callous, but it does seem like the drop off from him to Trey Benson is manageable skill wise. I don't think that Trey Benson is everything that James Conner is yet, but he does have more top speed. That be his main thing. It literally separates him from him. But with James being out, that is going to change some things. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals go and look for additional depth. They may bring up a guy off the practice squad and just go that route. I don't know that anything huge is going to happen this week because we're on a short week going to Seattle, hosting Seattle. So, but yeah, the running back situation was figuratively, of course, painful to watch. So
and that happened, and I just kind of brought the game to a halt for a minute. So that was the bad news there. The game really was a very close game going into the half. I mean, it was a close game the whole way through, truthfully. But at halftime, it was very close by. Where do you think things were going? Kind of on the offensive side of the ball. What was working? What wasn't working? What did the 49ers do to kind of slow everything down? What's your take on all of that?
Well, we have a continuation of the idea that we kind of touched on last week, which is the Cardinals don't seem to actually have a scheme they're running for their wide receivers. Now, I'm sure that's a bit of hyperbole in there, but because there's always some kind of a plan, some kind of a setup, but it just doesn't seem to be accomplishing much of anything because still no one's open. None of the wide receivers are open. We're seeing kind of similar to Dallas, heavy dose of tight ends and the run game and little screens and things like that, though you had more of it than we did. On top of that, you've got guys who are as open as I've ever seen a human being be, drop the easiest pass I've ever seen, and be the 4th overall pick. Yeah, that Marvin Harrison drop is going to haunt me. And it's so that one's frustrating. And the only reassurance I have is like, it's not like he has bad hands or they would have noticed that in college or last year. Like there's something going on between his ears, and we're not really sure what that is. So hopefully he gets that sorted out. But that was atrocious to watch. But yeah, just the pass game in general with the wide receivers in particular is not working. Now, I don't know if that's all the wide receivers or more Kyler or more Drew Petzing. I think generally right now, most of the blame is going on Drew Petzing with Kyler kind of coming up right behind him. But there's some spotlight on Marvin right this second. So that'd be like my main gripe. I will say as a secondary gripe, the run game seems to have taken a step back. It has regressed a bit from last year. It is just not getting those 5, 6, 7-yard chunks like we were last year, James Conner or no James Conner. And I think part of that may be due to us losing our old O-line coach, which we kind of thought, that's too bad that we lost that guy. Now he's with your Cowboys, is your OC, and we're starting to see why he's your OC, because you can really see this offense and Dallas Cowboys run game in particular. So it seems like it's regressed, and that's really all I can point to as what the culprit might be for that regression. So our offense definitely disappointed. Any game where you put up 15 points, the offense is kind of what I'm going to point my finger at. So.
Well, one last thing on the offense. So with the running game in particular, do you feel like at this point in time, teams, when they come in to play Arizona, their first idea is, hey, let's take away the run and then let them beat us passing. We can adjust from there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like at this point in time, especially your division rivals who know you best, that they're going to come in and try to play that format? Would you expect Seattle, I guess, as well, to say, hey, we're going to take away this week unfairly because James is not going to be as much a factor, that they're going to say, we're going to take away the run and make you beat us in the air?
Yeah, I think so. To take away the run, and then if they have the guys, then they can just say, like, hey, maybe we can eliminate one guy. It's going to be focused on Trey McBride more than Marvin. And for good reason at this point from everything we've seen. So, yeah, I expect them to really try to gum up the works in the run game. And Lord help us if they succeed. So, because this is going to be a really long game on Thursday.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't think that they need a more complex plan than that, to be completely honest. They run a great defense in Seattle as it is. They've got a great front, and they've got a really good corner, Devin Witherspoon, who can probably mitigate a lot of whatever Marvin's trying to do anyway. So I worry about our offense going into Thursday, to be completely honest.
No, I think that makes sense. Like I'm hoping that we get to see the best of Trey Benson. You've talked him up all year. I think it would be neat to get to see him get a real workload against a team, just to like, hey, go let the leash off the guy, let him go do whatever he can do, and hope the best on that. That would be really good because you're going to need to be two-dimensional, especially against Seattle. So now, maybe the positive side is you played an offense that has been moving, has been getting the ball around, has been scoring points, and held him in check. Christian McCaffrey does. Looking at this game, Christian McCaffrey looks like he's pretty well back. I think he's on pace to have more touches as a running back than any other player in the NFL, if I heard that correctly, in a general sense between his rushes and catches. So he was very productive, but didn't score a lot of points. So what's your take on the defensive side of the ball?
I'm actually very happy with the defense. If you look at just yards, it looks like we just got torched. But I don't care that much about just yards. We give up the whole 20 to the 20 kind of deal, or nowadays it's more like the 30 to the 30. We give that up fairly regularly. We're hoping, I guess, that they'll make some kind of mistake and that'll give us an opportunity. Doesn't seem to work out that way. But we do play the whole bend but don't break. So Christian, well, he seems to have had an amazing day yesterday off of 30 touches or something like that, or almost. Not last year, but the last year that he played the full season, so back in 2023, he had 7 against the Cardinals. So, yeah, he is normally just obliterates us. So the fact that we kept him down to 0, I'm actually incredibly happy with. I do think that you'll see some similar things from Kenneth Walker, and I don't know the status of Zach Charbonnet, if he's going to be able to play or not. Short week, and I know he was missing for this last Sunday, I believe. So, but we'll see. But there will be a heavy dose of the run game, especially to try to get into scoring position. Once they're in the red zone, we can only hope.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought it up when we were talking before, but Old Man Campbell, never. It's amazing how productive he is. Like you get those few guys who they don't really age. They just keep getting smarter. They're getting wiser. Their body holds up. Calais has been amazing, I feel like, on defense. And Josh Sweat has been, I think, worth everything there. I think he's been smart. So are there any other big who ended up, you guys ended up with a interception though too, right? I believe.
Yeah, we did for Dadrion Taylor-Demerson, or he's got a nickname of the Rabbit, whatever. He's Buda Baker's heir apparent. He plays a lot like him, like especially if you watch early years of Buda Baker and then compare them to like Demerson does, or Taylor-Demerson. It's very similar. Plays just hungry, all out kind of guy. So you love to see that, and that was good. I think it was his first career interception. He's getting a bit more playtime this year, and I think he got even more playtime because with a couple of our corners being out, he got thrust into some extra duty that he's not even normally in. I think they had him playing nickel when he's like a true safety. I was happy with how he stepped up, and he's still really good against the run too, or at least I like his play against the run. So the defense, again, I have no complaints with the defense. Calais Campbell is ageless wonder. It's like he hung out with Larry Fitzgerald a lot, and he's just carried on that fine tradition. So he's playing really well. Josh Sweat is consistently doing his job. You know, he was never a huge big sack numbers guy for the Eagles back when they had him. I think he topped out at 8 or 10 or something like that. And so, but he's a do your job, and he seals up the edge well. He's pretty good against the run and the pass. So I'm very happy with the defense. It's the short version of this. It just wasn't enough this week. You know, the offense just didn't pick up their end of the couch. So.
Well, and going all the way around the horn on that, Chad Ryland, who's normally very, very stable, very consistent, missed his one. So that's about the distance in the game was a field goal and all that, which there were a lot of games, let's be honest. Special teams this last weekend were the story of of really the entire NFL. So some people end up on the positive side of it. Cards end up on the other side. I'm looking forward to their game coming up against Seattle on Thursday. Should be. I am. I'm looking forward to it. I have hope. I have hopes, maybe more than you. We'll dig into that later. But thanks everybody for joining us. We'll hope to next week when we recap have better news against Seattle. This is We Are the Game. Thank you to everybody who's already a subscriber. If you haven't already, we'd love to get a like or subscribe. We're on our way to 100 subscribers. So thanks everybody and have a great day.